Because it is the very pedestal you put the thing you want on that then takes it out of reach for you. And you put it there. What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. We always hear about attracting abundance in our life. But the irony is that it is abundance that attracts abundance. So to have more of abundance, you have to cultivate abundance in what you already have. And that is what's referred to as an abundance mindset. But the fact that it's a prerequisite to having abundance will be more of the focus of my discussion today. That just having abundance is what brings more abundance. I realized this very early on in my career, almost by accident. Part of the reason I got so tired of having jobs and being employed by someone else is because I felt like I mastered that game. And I get bored of games that I feel like I mastered. I have and can be put into any job interview and walk out with an offer. I've walked into interviews with no resume, nothing in hand, no paperwork, and been given positions to run entire departments. So granted, the job is somewhat in line with what my competency is, I have never felt out of reach for any position. Even ones that are seemingly out of reach for most people, and ones that most people would work to climb the ladder and wait over time to achieve, for me, was something that I always felt like came easy to me. And having gotten to this place where I could play this game so well, I've coached other people, friends of mine, on how to take interviews and walk out with an offer. What I've tried to impart most to the people I've helped through this process, aside from the intricate details of the back and forth and the role playing of the kind of interview questions they might be asked, what I've tried to impart most is the swagger, the disposition by which they need to carry themselves internally before even walking into the job, for that job offer to then fall at their feet. And almost all of it has to do with feeling abundant. You see, it all comes down to the simple psychology that is felt in the room from you once you feel it and embody it. I'll tell you what doesn't attract abundance. Thirst, hunger, desperation to fulfill the two. This applies across the board, from jobs to money to success to women. Money hates desperation. Women do not value what is so ready to show value. And no different is it when going in for a job interview or for any other relationship. When you are desperate, you chase. They say the power always is in the hand of the person who needs the other person less. When you are desperate, you chase. And when you chase something, it runs away faster from you. You give it a reason to run because you are chasing it. Most things in life worth having are to be coerced towards you, seduced, magnetized. No one wants anyone that is wanting. Now, I'll acknowledge and tell you why this is such a difficult thing to coach on. Because it's not a tactic or a simple system that can be role-played or made better. To make someone come from an abundant place enough that their energy emanates it and is felt on the other side of the table in that room, that shift has to happen at the level of their disposition, in a worth they see in themselves they did not see clearly before. And you can imagine why that's very difficult to bring people there, especially when they are desperate and actually need the job or want the woman or feel that way, feel at lack of that thing. And many people struggle in an actual desperate state to not come across as desperate. And this, though, is still not about acting your way through it, because we are social animals and we are constantly looking to peg each other's value in a room, and how you value yourself shows up intangibly. It seeps through your eyes, and it cannot be faked or acted. Any discrepancy is felt in the room and screams as even more desperate. If you go out of your way to defend the status you want to have perceived, if you in any way, you act any more grandiose than you actually feel, you risk even more damage than actually being thirsty. Because now you're thirsty and overcompensating. And it comes across as arrogance and entitlement. Like you haven't earned this place, but you want to be seen and perceived that way. And again, it's very difficult to coach someone into genuinely feeling abundant and having their spirit exude it. Unless you can draw upon how maybe they are abundant in other aspects of their life and how they can apply it to something else. So maybe they're abundant with girls and not abundant with jobs, or abundant with jobs and not abundant with girls, and not abundant with success. It all comes down to trying to connect it for them, or else it's just very difficult to get somebody there. And so if it's difficult to get someone else to this point, why am I even talking about it? Do I have anything useful to share that can get you to tap into this abundant feeling and ultimately attract everything you want for yourself? Maybe. Depends on how desperate you really are. How much of it do I need to snap you out of? There's probably a percentage of people I can help. But if you are literally desperate and don't know where your next meal is coming from, or there is some crisis in your life, chances are you have to put out the fires and simmer the heat before anything wants to come near you at all. So let's just be real about it. For me, I'll share how it's always come easy to be abundant. Part of it was this place of ego. It always helps sometimes. And most of it was from my ability to perform, my ability to show up. So the part of the secret of not feeling like you're faking it comes from actually not faking it. When you see and witness yourself show up time and time again and outwork and outlearn everyone in the room and outlast everyone in the room, even in your humblest of states, it becomes very difficult to sell yourself short. So if you want to feel abundant, act in excellence for no other reason than just to build a rapport of excellence with yourself. And when you truly believe that about yourself, any room, any interaction, any interview, any relationship that you are courting will feel that you do not need it, that you do not need that room, that relationship, that interaction, that you will continue to go on and be excellent without it. And that in itself gets them to court you instead. So while you work on that longer strategy, I'll tell you a quick hack. Because the longer strategy is working on yourself and building that rapport for yourself. I'll call this hack while you work on that longer term strategy. I'll call this hack looking past the honeymoon phase. Here's how you do that. Realize that, and this comes from one of my favorite rap lyrics that I cannot repeat. Realize that for every even one of the hottest girls, for every one of the hottest girls that you may desire, that there's a guy out there tired of her completely. And expand that metaphor to everything else. Let's say that you did acquire, looking past the honeymoon phase, let's say that you did acquire the thing that you were so thirsty and desperate for. Once your initial thirst is quenched, and your initial period of gratitude has worn off, guess what you have? Reality. You are faced with reality. Now you are in the day-to-day, the menial, the nitty-gritty. No matter how much of a pedestal you put something on, once you acquire it, once you are now on the other side of having it for a while, it's just plain and ordinary. Something you might be looking past and onto the next thing already for. So this is the hack. You want to immediately feel better then, feel more abundant then, feel more powerful than the thing you so desire to have as your missing piece? Imagine yourself as already having achieved it, having gotten it, being tired of it, and then who you are on the other side. And chances are, you're probably the same person. It's the most common thing to hear from millionaires about how they say they felt the same once they reached their pinnacle of success. Because you are fundamentally the same person. You didn't really need the achievement to complete you. And you can tap into this energy, maybe not feel it completely, but tap into this energy before having achieved it. And ironically, as abundance works, when you behave like you already have the thing, when you feel no difference because you can already see yourself past it, you actually have it then. You attract it to you because you already resonate the energy of someone who it comes to. There's no void left anymore. It is not foreign. It is not thrown off by feeling any thirst from you. It comes to you because you've already nestled a home for it in your being. You've made room for it in the closet already. It has a place with you. Only the manifestation of it physically is missing. But the emotional resonance it sits in is already inviting it home. It's already familiar. So just look past the giddy, can't wait to have it acquiring phase. Because it is the very pedestal you put the thing you want on that then takes it out of reach for you. And you put it there. And if you saw the thing as ordinary, acting like you've been in this end zone before, like you won this championship before, like it's nothing special for you to be given a 6-figure offer or be wanted by any hot girl, then it's more likely to happen because of the way you carry yourself. And in that is the fact that it's ordinary for you for this thing to happen. If instead you continue to keep it on a pedestal and treat the acquiring of these things as a dream, that dream job, that dream place, that dream house, that dream life, that dream family, that dream wife, your actual life will be nothing more of a nightmare in contrast to it. Because all the signals you're sending out are of it apart from you, as someone who dreams of it, as opposed to somebody who has had it, experienced it, gotten tired of it already, moving on to the next thing. You see how to that person, it's just an ordinary thing and it would just bring more and more of that easily? Anything you want, act like you have it and have had it already forever. Past the honeymoon phase of when you held every door open. You see, I really believe in treating everything from day one like it will be treated on day 1,000, day 10,000. The reason why most things come and go, most attraction fades, is because everything is measured through a relative. And if you pull back on something you used to give, it is a natural deficit that's felt. If you approach money or success, your new job, anything that you're taking on, a new venture, with the eagerness and undue attention to make it feel special, with an unsustainable level of intensity, all of your achievement in these areas will be short-lived. It will fade as your energy that you put into it fades. But if you treat that same thing as good as you can treat it, but with the same respect of consistency you show for yourself, that you show up for yourself regardless of what's in that place, you will give it that same level of consistency regardless of how new it is, with no extra zest in the acquiring phase than there is in the keeping phase. Then you have the recipe to attract and keep more and more in your life than you can even imagine. So try this for your next interview or your next fill in the blank desire that you so think you need to court. After imagining having yourself gotten it and probably being bored of it and bored of the day-to-day of it to maintain it, to keep it, before walking into your next interview and having imagined that you have already had it, walk into that interaction as, instead of you trying to qualify yourself to be worthy of acquiring this said desire, being now in touch with, at least in imagination, being in touch with the mundaneness of it, the quick to be ordinary experience of waking up daily to even the hottest girl in the world, walk into that interaction. Again, instead of qualifying yourself, now with the energy of, you now need to qualify to me. Sure, you're beautiful. Sure, you pay a handsome salary, but that will soon get old and I will soon adjust. So what else you got going for you? Because beauty is common, high-paying jobs are common, What else are you doing to qualify to earn me? Because I know I will soon be tired of you. And if not for these other compensating factors, I might not stick around. And watch how now, instead of you chasing everything that you want, chases you. That is how you attract abundance. Knowing that everything you so desperately want will soon be of no value to you, and you will be more valuable to it. And doing this will not only bring you the abundance you've wanted the whole time as a bonus, but more importantly, what this disposition will also bring is the answer to that question, what else you got going for you? It's the meaning that will endure, that will be durable. That will be the answer to what else is this doing for me? And then, my friend, not only are you truly abundant, you are also fulfilled. Love you, family. Stay true, always. See you in the next show.